All right, good evening, everyone. Tonight is Thursday, April 11. This is the Board of Directors regular meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Board Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Yes. Director Sailors,
Present.
Director Weber,
Present.
Director Sheets,
Present.
Director Rice,
Present.
Director Jones,
I'll say here.
Director Costa,
Present.
Director Clark. Thank you.
All right, this is the Metro Cable announcement. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District will be cablecast on Metro Cable 14. The meeting will be replayed at 11:30 a.m. on Sunday, April 14th, and then again at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, April 16th on Channel 14. At this time, it's a public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within the district's jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers?
Online attendees, if there's anything you'd like to present to the board at this time, please raise your hand. I'll give you the opportunity to speak.
And if there's anyone in the room, please come forward.
No response online.
Great, perfect. And my apologies. I'd like to start off with the pledge of the flag. Director Costa, will you lead us?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
All right. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the consent items?
Yes.
Any questions, comments? I'll entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Great. We have a first and a second. Can you please call the roll?
Yes. Director Sailors,
Aye.
Director Weber,
Aye.
Director Sheets,
Aye.
Director Rice, Director Jones,
Aye.
Director Costa,
Aye.
Director Clark. Thank you. Motion passes.
Right. Moving on, presentation item. We have the California Firefighter Cancer Research Study. It looks like Training Captain Jeremy Crawford. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. Jeremy Crawford, one of the captains assigned to the training division. I've also served as the Director of Membership Services for 522, and in that role, have served on our Regional Cancer Committee. And I got to give you a little bit of backstory, but before I breeze through this slides, I'll try to keep it as brief for you as possible. President Jameson asked that I kind of give some context here and kind of the work that was involved. When I took that position and fell into the committee, it was during COVID, and the group hadn't even been meeting. The chair had retired and moved out of state. So not only did I have a lot to learn and get more deep into the subject, had to re-energize our folks, recruit new folks. And part of that process, the Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center attached to the University of Miami, they're kind of one of the pioneers and leaders in the world as far as firefighter cancer research, prevention, things of those nature. Their co-directors were actually kind enough to grant me a Zoom meeting. So one day in the Union Hall, I'm on Zoom with these experts from Miami, and they're very gracious and wonderful. One of their suggestions was tie in with your local university, because research is how you get, and science is how you get the answers to solving this problem. And so found out UC Davis has a comprehensive cancer center. That was the obvious fix for me. So I got a hold of the director's assistant who said, send us a written proposal. Okay, I can do that. I'm more of a sit down, let's have a cup of coffee and talk about this kind of guy, but let's do it. Continued more research, IFF newsletter, Dr. Jeffrey Burgess with the University of Arizona is doing work. Contacted the Arizona's union leadership, got a hold of him. Again, very gracious, happy to help. Oh, Jeremy, I'm coming to UC Davis to do a presentation with Derek Irwin. Would you like to go? Yes, please. So things were just happened very, very naturally. And again, just relationship building and networking, like paid off huge dividends. We had a great dinner the night before that presentation. Kevin Green from CPF, the legislative team, and sitting around the table brainstorming, like what's next? How can we tackle this problem and make some things happen? And so the presentation went great the next day, got tied in with the staff, and here we are today. So it was a lot of work, and like I said, relationship building, and I'm very optimistic for our future. So I'll start with Derek Irwin there, pictured in the middle. Mentioned him briefly. He came along with Dr. Burgess on that presentation. Derek's a firefighter. He is an engineer with Los Angeles County Fire Department, drives a truck in Inglewood. He lost his younger sibling to cancer many years ago at the age of 33. surrounded by love and support from his brothers and sisters, Derek took it upon himself to go back to school at UCLA, got his doctorate, and to this day works and teaches there on his days off, and is very well known in the firefighter cancer community. And he's got 3 kids at home. I have no idea how he does what he does, but he's an incredible human being and has been a great asset for us, a great voice for the fire service, and couldn't be more appreciative of him. But again, it was thanks to him and Dr. Burgess that we got introduced to some other folks here at the UC Davis Comprehensive Cancer Center. One of those entitlements or requirements, if you will, to be a comprehensive cancer center, part of their mission is to tackle the cancer problem in their community. And that obviously involves us as well and includes us. So it's a great fit for both of us. Dr. Irwin flew down a few months ago and accompanied me to the regional chiefs meeting to make this presentation to them. This is Derek's presentation, by the way, so he gets full credit for it, not me. And we went there for a couple of reasons. Like one being we needed to get administrative support and approval from all the fire chiefs. Like, yes, this is between our members and UC Davis and for the betterment of the fire service as a whole, but it's not something we're trying to hide or keep from administration or leadership. Wanted them to be aware of it. And one important reason was we were hoping to be able to enroll folks on duty, make it as convenient for them as possible. Everyone's got kids and school and life on their days off, so we wanted to make it as easy as possible. And so I'll tie back in with that at the end here. And this is the presentation we do for our enrollees on the day. And like I said, I'm going to breeze through this and give you the nitty gritty, but if at any point you have any questions or need clarification, please feel free to interject. So part of this problem, you may or may not know, the IARC is the International Agency for the Research on Cancer. This is a group of subject matter experts from all over the world, researchers, physicians, just on cancer as a whole. They get together periodically and review updated research data on anything related to cancer. During one of their most recent reconvenings, they looked at some of the research that's been done on cancer in the fire service, and they reclassified our occupation as a whole as a group 1 carcinogen, which unfortunately is the highest and worst you can get. And I tell our folks, like, this isn't just one specific chemical, compound, or carcinogen. This is just our job. That's how bad the prevalence of cancer is in our occupation, unfortunately, and that's what got us that bad grade. Abbreviated list of just some of the things we encounter on the job, compound that with the sleep disturbance, the stress, it just makes the problem worse. As far as California firefighters are concerned, we're a very unique and opportunistic study group for all of our partners, but particularly UC Davis. And that's because of that picture you see on the bottom there, operating in the WUI, the wildland urban interface. That unfortunately just adds to that list of exposures and complexities. But again, it's good for our researchers and good for us because that needs to be looked at and evaluated as well. This is the slide where I let the other smarter people in the room talk because they can go into the science much better than I can, but it's just laying out the mechanisms for how the exposures are affecting our genes and our DNA and leading to cancer. So the essence of this study is we're trying to look at cancer biomarkers and define a range. And so Derek makes a great correlation here. We already know cholesterol is used as a biomarker to gauge our risk for heart disease. There's an established number there where if your number is beyond that, your doctor is going to say, stop eating double cheeseburgers all the time. We don't have those numbers for our cancer biomarkers. And so that's what we're trying to establish. You may or may not know there's a lot of multi-detection cancer blood tests that are marketed out there. They aren't FDA approved because the science isn't there yet. They don't know what a tolerable or acceptable biomarker range is yet. So that's what we're trying to find out. Again, more science. And so this research entails day one when we enroll them, we send them through a few stations and we'll go through that. Really the essence of it is wearing this Fitbit and for a year on the job, on and off duty. And that's so we can track heart rate, SpO2, sleep disturbances. We have them come back after that year is over. All the basic things that I'm gonna take you through and show them as far as vital signs and blood work and things that we get together. And then we do some data collection as well and look at all that data and look at, they went on this many grass fires, this many structure fires, look at all that over the year of their time on the job. Again, basic vital signs. The blood work, the vials on the right are just kind of some of your basic blood panel. The ones on the left are more specific to looking at those epigenetics and studying those biomarkers. We do a body composition, may or may not be a little bit competition with the body fat percentage, take them through setting up the Fitbit. And then they do some online questionnaires as well, general health and the nutrition one as well, which is obviously very important. I think that's it for the study. And so I have to give a few thank yous, first of all. When we presented this study to the regional chiefs, Chief House was the first one to come up to me and say, you know, we're in, right? So that was very calming and reassuring and very appreciative of him and his leadership. Chief Lozano, Dana Lips, and all my coworkers in the training division, we started here with Metro with the enrollment. So our people were the first ones to get on board. We did it in-house at our training building. UC Davis came over with their bins and everyone was just very gracious hosts. So thank you for your support and all that. Our shift commanders and our BCs, navigating our companies, getting there on duty with our already crazy operations calendar and everything going on. That was very appreciated as well. The last day we did this here in-house, UC Davis couldn't find their phlebotomist to come and do the blood work. I made a call. Chief Perryman and PA Terry Zanzier came over that morning and drew the blood for our members. And if they wouldn't have been there, we would have been 20 less enrollees. So very, very appreciative to them. And our members, first and foremost, like this doesn't happen without their participation. And to be honest with you, every session, at least half the group or maybe more were people that did come off duty on their own time because they wanted to do it so badly and not potentially miss a chance of trying to get there on duty. So that was very awe-inspiring to see. And again, I was very appreciative of that. Questions? I know I flew through the science, but like I said, usually I have the smarter people with me talking about it.
Oh, thank you so much. This is the information's terrific. Now, when or how far along are we in terms of accumulating and reaching out for, let's say, descriptive causes, which in turn would lead to potential preventative measures? Where are we in terms of the accumulation of the information?
Just cancer as a whole or the research
The
project?
research, the 1 year.
So that is something I did fail to mention. So we're still in the enrollment process. Their original target number was 300 participants. We did, I believe, 7 enrollment sessions. Again, just here at Metro was where we started. We got over 150 off the bat. And I think our researchers were so blown away. They said, you know what, we don't want to turn anybody away. They bumped that number to 500. And to date, I believe we're knocking on the door at 270 enrollees. So
Just for Metro?
no. We did make our way west to City of Sacramento, West Sacramento. I think we do still have some people at Metro who have been itching to get on board. So we're going to re-extend that invite to them. And we're still going to head down south to Consuments as well. So I'm extremely optimistic and confident we're going to have no problem getting to that 500. Yes, sir.
Captain Crawford, it's interesting. Number one, I am so glad to see this. Did you receive a call from Kevin Green today?
Not yet. I spoke to Trevor from Hawaii and we're going to get in touch.
And I spoke to Chief House, and the interesting thing, we've been working, in my day job, we've been working very closely with Kaiser, and we are on the cusp of rolling out a hotline for behavioral health solely for firefighters, to deal with a culturally competent clinician and staff, to see our members into a more streamlined form of care. What developed off of that, and I talked to Chief House yesterday, on April the 22nd, the same team and very high level, they want to meet with us. And my first thought was I got to get them to Metro Fire. They're going to meet and do a tour of the PPE decontamination, cleaning, repair, and replacement process, and then retire here to kind of do a question and answer. And the goal of it, Kaiser wants to know about cancer prevention, screening, and how it interrelates with firefighters. And when I talked to Chief House, he did the same thing. We're in. And on a last one, I saw these very same slides from an oncologist in Boston on Monday, and we talked about the data. And we just lost a fire captain and to World Trade Center cancer. And some World Trade Center data, believe it or not, one of the cancers that's showing up there is melanoma. And the median age is 55. The time to diagnosis, the average is about 9.2 years. The general location is usually on the back. And what they discovered is there's a significant increase in members that worked on the pile or the rubble pile. And they show a significant increase from members, and this would include USAR Task Force 7 members that began work on that pile anytime from September 11th to the 17th and worked all through. The numbers are off the charts. Our captain died of mucosal melanoma. So the ties, you can't get any stronger than that. And I commend you, the fire chief, the department, and everything you're doing. Cancer is killing our members. And so we are on the right track. I look forward to the 22nd and just thank you for doing this.
No doubt. Chief House did send out a group text about that meeting. And to answer your question a little bit more, Director Jones, like nothing specific out of this study yet. And that was one of I told them right from the get-go, like screening is my number one thing. Like we got to catch this stuff early, and I'm sick and tired of going to these funerals, like older, younger, it doesn't matter. Like this is out of hand and ridiculous. We're making steps in the right direction as a fire service, and specifically here, like the decon and wearing our SCBA, like all those basic things. I'll be the first to admit I need to be better at it. It's a change culturally, like we have to embrace it. We're headed there. We're getting there. It takes time. I'm not patient. The rest of us aren't patient, but we're working on it. It's coming. And again, studies like this, like that can get us towards actionable items and ultimately will lead to screening. It's going to help us get there, but it does take time, unfortunately.
Any other questions, comments?
I think we're doing better than most. I love the us being as aggressive as this program. It's really good for our members.
No doubt. And the support from leadership and administration is a huge part of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, oh, yeah,
very thankful.
leadership.
Yes, sir.
Director Robert?
I just want to thank you for something else you're doing. I know you've had 2 of them at least already. You have another one coming up, but the skin cancer screening, I was involved in one of those, and they found something on me. If you're going to get cancer, this is the best thing to have. But the fact that that is being offered to our members, and the first one came up with a couple of melanomas. I don't know what came out of this last one, but thank you for doing that. And that's a great program in itself. So.
No doubt. That's thanks to Dr. Ann Haas, who is a dermatologist and does these studies for free on weekends for firefighters in the area. And all of her staff and everyone that's there, they can only do it on a Saturday or Sunday because they have to work the other days of the week. So they're there on their own time screening our members. And again, that's a contact that I got from our friends at UC Davis. So those relationships paying dividends. Yes.
Anybody else? All right.
Actually,
Yes, sir. Go
sorry.
ahead, Director.
So I'm wondering that you've got leadership support as far as administration here, but what do you need from the board?
Continue to support it. Yeah,
Okay. So
honestly.
you'll be back when you're getting the data, gathering data, you'll come
No
back. to the
doubt, I'll
board,
definitely
provide
come
us
back and
updates.
yeah.
Okay.
It's not gonna be individual, oh,
Right.
Jeremy, you're dad, it's aggregate, it's as a
Yeah.
group, like this is what we saw and that's how it'll be presented, but I'll definitely come back and share it
Okay.
after that year, no doubt.
Yeah. Thank you for all you're doing.
Thank
Yeah.
you, I appreciate it,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
All right, moving on, President's report. President Gould is not here. There's no report. Fire Chief's report. Deputy Chief Bailey.
We have no report this evening for the fire chief
Okay.
or the administration.
Okay,
Thank you.
operations report? Oh, Chief, go ahead.
Keely.
Keely. Wow, I was said Mitchell.
Members of the board, Chief Bailey, friends and colleagues that are present and online. My name is Kylie Keeley. I'm the B Shift Commander. When I was promoted in December, I was given other duties as assigned. So I have oversight of both some of the training and mentoring of the MMP program and the reserve program. And here tonight for the AC Spotlight, I'm going to introduce some of the members that are involved directly in our reserve program. It's something that's been present for my entire career, which I just passed my 29th year. So I would like to bring up a couple of our dedicated long-term reserves, Dennis Berry and Mark Siebert, and one of our newest members, Noah Wilson. Also in the crowd, I've got Engine 111, staffed by Captain Ed Henderson, Engineer Tom Chen, and Firefighter Connor Castile. Coming up, guys. And then Battalion 5 on B Shift is staffed by Chief Kim Fong. So the reserve program, as many of you are fully aware, is a particularly valuable asset to Metro Fire. They staff our air rig and our water tender specifically, but they're also available for other duties in the region, public ed events, recruiting, and training. And with that, I just wanted to bring up Chief Fong to let him know from an operational overview what it means to him to have a reserve program in his battalion.
Good evening, Kim Fong, Battalion 5B. I'm privileged to be able to serve B5 on the B shift, B being best, of course. Actually, you know what? I think it does a disservice to the reserve program to state that they just do the, drive the 2 air rides that we have as well as the water tender. They go so far beyond that in their service to the community. These individuals, Reserve Firefighter Mark Siebert has a full-time job in logistics, and to see him respond regardless of the day of week, regardless of the time of night, be there and to serve not just the citizens of the Sacramento and the Sac Metro Fire District, but also the members of our agency is just unbelievable to me. You don't often find individuals like that. Another good example of that is Reserve Firefighter Dennis Berry, who is of the same caliber, stepping up continually, regardless of the day of the week or time of night. For example, we just had a live fire ARF drill out there at McClellan Air Force Base, and to have Noah, who is one of our newest members, step into that role and perform that role seamlessly with more senior members and be able to interact and just mesh with those individuals while also providing that service is amazing to me. We're looking at a number of different directions with this reserve program. I think right now we have 4 members. Sergio is not with us this evening, who are, on call 24/7, 365. We've done some brainstorming over the last couple of months, and we're looking at some new, unique ways of getting additional members into our reserve program, possibly streamlining it, looking at different ways to attract members, because as we will know, we're having a difficult time attracting firefighters. But I think with some of the brainstorming that we've done with the current reserves, as well as Engine 111 with Captain Henderson and his crew that have oversight of training and work collaboratively with Mr. Siebert, that we can go in the right direction and get that to a fully staffed level, which I believe is 14 currently on the pad. So I'm not going to speak on behalf of that. I'm going to turn it back to Kylie Keeley and let Captain Henderson and Dennis Berry, as well as Mark Siebert, talk to that more in depth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief Fong. Next, I'd like to bring up Captain Ed Henderson to provide his perspective on being involved at his level as an engine company officer at 111.
Thank you guys for your time. So I was hired in 2007, and shortly after that came to 111 for my first little stint. And the reserve program has always been an integral part of not only the B5 and Rio Linda Alberta community, but the district as a whole as long as I've been here. A little history of the reserve program. It was formed when the Rio Linda, Alberta Fire Department was formed back in the 1920s. As Metro Fire formed in 2000, the members were, it was a fairly robust membership with 24 reserves. The year after that, it had dropped to 14. We've struggled over the years with recruitment and retention for various reasons, to the point where we're getting close to not being able to respond to all the emergencies that are required. We run 2, sometimes 3 apparatus with the 4 reserves, current active reserves that we have, 2 air rides, 1 at Station 112 and 1 down at Station 68. As well as a water tender that is the only water tender that the district has north of the river. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mark Siebert. He has taken on more of a leadership role. In 2021, we decided to bring the reserve program headquarters kind of back to the Rio Linda, Alberta area and take it at 111 after being passed around the Battalion 5 area for several years. And I asked Mark to take more of a leadership role in the reserve program itself. And I'm going to let him to speak to you on some numbers and some struggles that we've had over the years. Thank you.
Hello, Directors, Chief Bailey, and audience, and those on Zoom. Again, my name is Mark Siebert. I've been a reserve firefighter now for 25 years. This year will be its 26th. And I want to acknowledge Dennis. Dennis has been a reserve firefighter for this district for 43 years. That's 43. That's some serious commitment. So with what Captain Henderson said, so obviously the program started, back in Rio Linda, Alberta, and it was really volunteers back in the day, and really the reserve terminology word didn't really come into effect till American River Fire. And then obviously as we merged and became Metro Fire, the program just kept going on. Some interesting notes on that is that the reserve firefighter program became a blueprint for numerous sub-programs that were developed through the district over subsequent years. So obviously whatever was established back in the day was actually been able to carry over to current programs to this day. The reserve program, serves, like we said, as a training mechanism, for those that are trying to be full-time firefighters. I think the days of people like me and Dennis are very hard to find, those that really want to commit to a volunteer lifestyle, especially in the state of California. So I've learned just to embrace that my goal is to push people up. We have Noah here, he's almost coming up on a year. My goal is I want him to be a full-time firefighter. That's his goal. Hopefully here, I would love to see that. But if he goes anywhere, that's a win for me. So with all the training opportunities, me personally, this district let me get my firefighter 1 and my firefighter 2. I'm just a reserve firefighter, but my badge says firefighter. And that's one of the reasons why I joined this program back in the day, because I get to serve my community and I still get to do all the cool, awesome training opportunities that this district has. And, with doing our helicopter and bulldozer programs and water rescue, I've been able to do all of it. You don't get that anywhere else. It's just top notch. And, everybody here, we show up on these fires and you're just one of the crew. Nobody thinks you're a reserve. They just say, hey, how can we help you? We just do our job and we go home at the end of the day. So the biggest problem, like we're talking about, and like all departments, throughout the state, is just retention of people and trying to get people hired. I think after our meeting, we had a really good collaborative effort, and I think we have some unique opportunities. We have the Del Campo High School program. We have these kids that are coming up that are turning 18 years old that are eligible to maybe join the reserve program, give them an opportunity, kind of help guide them through their history, and help them, where they want to be. The district's already investing in that high school. Maybe we can help use them as part of a hiring process through us. And my goal is, start as a reserve, come in, get your fire stuff, work into MMP or work straight to firefighter, whatever works for you. So I think we just have some unique opportunities. But like I said, our staffing's just, we're at a real critical level, so we're just trying to just do the best we can with what we got. And, it's nice that you have a core group that you can just send a text message like, I'm going to be out of the area for a couple hours, and then everybody knows. So that's all I have. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll take them.
I want to thank all of you for being here. You guys, I consider my guys. You're in my district, and I love hanging out with you at the country fair and at the horse rides over at Dry Creek Parkway. You guys are always there for me, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Moving on to support services report, Chief Wagner.
Good evening, directors, Chief Bailey and staff, Tyler Wagaman, Deputy Chief of Support Services. With a few updates, starting off with facilities. They've been working pretty diligently at Station 50. I know I mentioned the project before. It's our privacy project, and we're taking a large dormitory and we're creating some space for folks to sleep and have some privacy that was never there before, and is definitely critical for all of our members to be able to have space available to them in our fire station so that they can have some privacy and some good sleep, because we know the call volume just continues to get worse each and every year. So that project is still underway. It is nearing completion. Tape, texture, and paint is on the docket currently, so we're getting really close, just past the framing inspection. In addition, our facility staff just completed swapping out the HVAC unit at Station 102. They're also working on that station in preparation for Squad 102, in addition that the district desperately needs for that area. I know Director Rice lives in that area as well, and I'm sure he's happy to see that resource just as I am as well. Moving on to Communications Division, they're working pretty hard over there as well, getting ready to add some upgraded station alerting to the Station 50 project when that new dorm goes into effect. They're currently working on 4 new support vehicles, one of which is a mobile integrated health unit, so MIH2. They're upfitting to support operational responses. In addition, 3 new ambulances, 4 additional new Type 5 rigs, which will get radios and computers here in the coming weeks. They'll be working on next. On a community risk reduction, our Deputy Fire Marshal Nygren, Fire Marshal Law, attended the Sacramento County Board of Supervisor meeting on March 26, for which was the first hearing for the revised fireworks ordinance. The ordinance was approved by the county on April 9th. Notable changes that the community should be aware of. First is the window for fireworks sales has been shortened to noon on March 28th through 9 p.m. on July 4th. So it was cut by 1 day. The next is permissible hours for fireworks use will be 9 a.m. in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. And lastly, enhanced fines for fireworks use. As you know, last year they integrated a pretty steep fine for fireworks use on the parkway. It's $10,000. Well, they've also added parks and schools to that list. So pretty hefty fine if you use fireworks on those premises. In 2023, the Fire Investigations Unit recommended 2 juveniles subjects to attend the Youth Fire Setters Program. This was following 2 fireworks-related incidents. The fire investigators worked extensively with both families, encouraging both of those individuals to attend. I'm happy to report that both subjects were successfully completed the program on March 20th. Of note, I would like to recognize Fire Inspector Roman Kletz, who attended the academy with one of the subjects all 3 nights and served as a Russian language translator. On March 16th, 2024, a fire occurred at 3333 Arden Way in the Arden Arcade area involving an unhoused male that was living in the mansard of a vacant building. Investigator Morton, following his investigation, apprehended and cited the suspect for arson. On April 5th, 2024, investigator Sergeant Ann Morton worked together to investigate a report of a male lighting multiple garbage cans on fire on Pope, also in the Arden Arcade area. One unhoused suspect was arrested, booked, and charged on arson, as well as had outstanding warrants. So a lot of work being done in our fire investigations unit. That completes the support services report, unless you have any questions for me.
Any questions, comments? No. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to firefighters local 522 report. I don't see Sean. Sean is not here. Welcome, sir.
Hi, good evening, Board of Directors, Chief Bailey, other colleagues in the audience. My name is Scott Owen. I am the other newly elected Deputy Director for 522 for Sac Metro. Quick and short report tonight. Most of the union leadership is currently, was back at the IFF 10th District Conference, where they were receiving updates on the PFAS lawsuits, trial periods of the new fire decks gear that was PFAS-free fire decks gear, and changes on OSHA laws that will affect our district. As far as the ops side go, there was a pretty productive deployment meeting a little over a week ago, where they talked about the transitioning of the FDMs to the MMPs, two of those being transitioned and the squad coming into play. 522 looks forward to continue working towards the transition of further FDMs to MMPs, and to increase the standard of coverage for the citizens of this district, along with the fire chief, sorry. First report, a little nervous here, apologize. Other than that, end of report for 522, is there any questions?
Questions, comments? Thank you,
All right,
Mr. Owen.
thank you for your time.
Right. All right, committee and delegate reports. No report for the executive committee, communication center JPA. No report. Okay. Finance and audit committee, Director Jones.
Thank you. Next meeting, April 25th, 5:30 in this venue.
All right, policy committee, Director Costa.
Thank you. The policy committee met today. We had two items on donated leave bank, one for represented employees and the other for unrepresented employees. And it was an informational item. No significant changes there, but there were some edits. Our next meeting is May 9th.
All right, we'll move on to board questions and comments before we go into closed session. We'll start with Director Sailors.
I have no comments tonight, thank you.
Director Rubber,
I have no comments either. Thank you.
Director Clark,
Same thing, ditto.
Director Rice,
Contained.
Director Jones,
Ditto.
and lastly, Director Costa.
No comments.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't have any comments either. All right, we will recess to closed session. Hopefully, we don't see any of you out there. Great, Council Lavra, are you going to be reporting out?
Yes, thank you, Director Sheets. The board just met in closed session. Under the closed session agenda, number one, the workers' compensation matter of Timothy Barnes and Sac Metro Fire District. The board unanimously voted to approve that settlement. Number two, Sean Condit and Metro Fire. The board voted unanimously to approve that workers' compensation settlement. Number two, on the agenda, the board met in closed session, to consider the industrial disability retirement of Brian Watley. The board, there's no reportable action taken on that case. That matter will be addressed in open session as an action item. Finally, number three, the board met in closed session to consider the claim for money damages under Government Code Section 910 in an indemnity claim filed by Electric Bike Technologies, and the board voted unanimously to deny that claim and to refer the matter to the district's liability pool carrier for further handling. And that's all.
Thank you, sir. All right, last item is an action item, industrial disability retirement. Are there any questions from the board members? All right, I'll entertain a motion and a second.
Okay, I'll call the roll. Director Sailors,
Aye.
Director Weber,
No.
Director Sheets,
No.
Director Rice,
No.
Director Jones,
Aye.
Director Costa,
No.
and Director Clark.
No.
Motion does not pass. The resolution is not adopted.
All right, that
Thank
brings
you.
us to the end of our meeting. Next board meeting will be a regular board meeting on April 25th, 6 PM in these chambers. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.